All right, everyone's favorite content is back. Peanut Gallery needed a little bit of a break over the summer, but we are ramping things up for my coverage of the NFL season here on Matt O'Leary NY and Matt O'Leary NY Extra. This is a Matt O'Leary NY Extra. We are bringing it back. Peanut Gallery, aka the internet's hottest takes on the Jets and all things football. The first one comes from a video on my preview of the Atlanta Falcons versus New York Jets contest. And this person says, I wonder what fan they are, says, totally biased opinion. Last time I checked, we beat the Jets in London last year. I understand the optimism, but not quite accurate, my guy. This person in a later comment would go on to say that Marcus Mariota is better than Matt Ryan. So, I mean, this person's thought process could probably be its own episode, but are we just going to pretend that both rosters from, what was that, week 5 last year are exactly the same? Matt Ryan, gone. In comes Marcus Mariota. Obviously, the Falcons have some turnover at the wide receiver position. They brought in Drake London, banged up, kind of hurt right now. This roster, the Falcons very well could be one of the worst teams in the NFL in 2022. And also this was kind of the whole point of my episode in the preview is talking about how the Jets were beating the piss out of the Falcons all week long at training camp and in training camp practice. So I don't know how a game that's 10 months old at this point is relevant to the rosters this year. That's first up on our agenda here. Next one, I gotta love. We've seen way too many takes similar to this. This person says, that's great, but the issue is the joke-ass quarterback carousel. Wilson is not gonna pan out. The Jets need to focus on ex-MVP Flacco to propel this. Jets fans are tired of guessing if the next joke pick is gonna work. Go with proven performance. Now, Joe Flacco has never won an MVP, won a Super Bowl MVP, and that was a decade ago. Legitimately 10 years ago was when this happened. Joe Flacco hasn't been a regular starter over the course of a full season since 2017, going on 5 years. And yes, he's fine as a spot starter. He looked good last year against the Patriots in 2020. He looked pretty good. And this year, I think he'll be fine coming in and spotting Zach Wilson for 2 years. But Zach has his 13 starts under his belt. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a guarantee that Zach Wilson is the guy, but you have to find out, and you can't just make your decision based on 13 games. There was too much last year that we saw from him that made you say, all right, let's give it another kick at the can. If he comes in this year and stinks up the joint, then yeah, the Jets are probably looking to go a different direction, but you got to know. You have to know the answer, and playing Flacco is just wasting time. It's an absolute waste. He is not the future here with this team. This one was my favorite one. And obviously this was commented on a Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore video. So I'm assuming they're talking Garrett, but Wilson's overhyped. Garrett Wilson's overhyped. I think the complete opposite. I think if anything, he's been underhyped. He was a 10th pick, probably the best receiver in the draft, even though he didn't go first. Drake London went first. My personal preference was Garrett Wilson, and Drake London was my wide receiver 4, but that's a different debate for another day. But he's the forgotten guy from this draft class. They're showing love to Breece Hall. They're showing love to Sauce. They're showing love to Jermaine Johnson. And Garrett Wilson's like, oh yeah, I was a top 10 pick too. I don't get this one at all. And if you watched in training camp or even the first preseason game, you'll see why Jet fans and just people in general are so high on Garrett Wilson. I could not stress enough how inaccurate this Wilson's overhyped take is. That's mind-boggling that we could come to that conclusion. I don't get that one at all. Let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. We have a Rich Samini burner account. I'm a 30-plus year Jet fan, and I love the quality of Rich Samini's reporting. If you don't have the mental toughness to handle questions from a beat reporter, you're probably not cut out for the NFL. Stop vilifying the press. All this is part of professional football. It's only a big deal because you're making it one. No, I think George Fant snapping back at Rich Samini was a big deal. I don't know, because it was going viral. Like, I don't know. I reacted to a viral moment for the Jets. I'm not the one making it a big deal. I'm clearly not the only one who thinks Rich Samini is harsh on this team. The number of comments that were anti-Rich Samini versus like the two, like legitimately two comments that were pro-Rich Samini, it was staggering. He was going out of his way trying to press George Fant on something that wasn't. Who cares about the contract? He gave you the answer of my agent deals with that, and he continued to press, and George Fant snapped back at him. It was stupid. There was no reason to continue pressuring him on, and that's part of the reason why Jet fans don't care for his coverage. And this one's also just a phenomenal one. You can't rest a franchise on one player. Zach Wilson plays a few series, throws a pick, and does nothing. Meanwhile, Pickett on the Steelers looks like a seasoned pro. A lot of arms in next year's draft. Flacco might be better at this point. So the Pickett better than Zach Wilson comparison is very funny. Because Pickett was playing against third and fourth string guys at the end of the preseason game in which this commenter was talking about. So I don't even know how it's a comparable situation. He's going up against number ones, I guess, but like Zach Wilson tore it up in the preseason last year against the Packers, and it ended up not meaning anything because he struggled for most of the year in 2020. Like, what are we? How is this even a relevant conversation? I don't get this one at all. So Peanut Gallery is back. Sound off on the comments. Let me know. Hot takes are coming every Sunday now. Thanks for tuning in. Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.